Hello everyone, it's me Petra again. In today's video, I'll be talking about the neurovascular system. The word neurovascular contains two words, neuro and vascular. Neuro means nerves and vascular means vessels. So now let's start with the vessels. There are three types of vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries is a type of vessel that contains good blood. When I say good blood, I mean blood that has oxygen and nutrients. Nutrients such as vitamins, proteins, glucose, electrolytes, and etc. But they get the good blood from the heart and lungs. Now, once the artery sends the good blood to the brain, the brain uses it and then it becomes waste. When it becomes waste, it comes back through the veins. It will go back through the veins, and the veins will have bad blood that contains carbon dioxide and other wastes. So when it comes back, it goes back through to the lungs and the heart, and then the heart will send to the lungs, and then the lungs will clean it by breathing out. And then the third one is capillaries. Capillaries are very, very, very tiny vessels that are between the arteries and the veins. So that the capillaries is just a place where they exchange good blood and bad blood. So when you look at your wrist, okay, if you the tiny stuff you see, like these are vessels, right? So the vessels that you're seeing is veins. So as you know now, that veins are more visible than arteries. Arteries are more protected and more underneath the skin because they have good blood. Now let's think about the arteries, veins, and capillaries like a street. So one side of the street is arteries, and then the other side of the street is veins. The in between, the place where you're gonna cross, is capillaries. So let's say you are bad blood, okay? So you are bad blood. So you just came from the arteries. So you're gonna go to the veins. So you have to cross, and you have to cross the street, and the street you're crossing is capillaries. So just think of it like that. So one side of the street is arteries and the other side is veins, and the in between is capillaries. Now let's move on to nerves. There are two types of nerves. The first one is called motor nerve, and the second one is called sensory nerve. So sensory nerve feels sensation. For example, if you heat, so temperature, touch, or anything, or even pain. So let's use an example. If you put your hand on the stove and you can feel that you're touching a stove, and you can also feel heat from the stove, this is all because of the sensory nerve. The sensory nerve, first of all, when you touch the stove, the sensory nerve sends information through an ascending pathway, and it's ascending to the brain. So ascending means going up to the brain. So from there, the brain first says, oh, you are touching a stove, and the stove is hot, so you must remove your hand. So when it says all that, it sends it back through a descending pathway going down, and this is where it goes to the motor nerve. Motor nerve means like movement. So when it sends down to the motor nerve, it tells the motor nerve to move your hand. So sensory and the motor nerve both work together. I've always ended my videos with a disease. Today's disease is called multiple sclerosis, or MS. So think of the nerves like an electrical wire. So when you see an electrical wire, you don't actually see the actual wire. You're seeing a protection layer, like a rubber thing or something. So nerves are like that as well, and they're all over your body, not just the brain. So the nerves has a protection layer as well. MS harms that protection layer, causing issues. So when your nerves are healthy, you can the brain sends information, or your body sends information to the brain using a smooth, quick pathway. But if you have MS, it sends it very slowly, or it gets blocked. Now, let's use the same example I used for the stove. So let's say you put your hand on the stove, okay? And the stove is hot. When you have MS, you could feel the pain, and it sends it to the brain very slowly, or it gets blocked. So you won't even realize that you're feeling the heat. So when it sends, and it reaches to the brain makes a decision to obviously move your hand. So when it sends back information, it either doesn't make it there, or it takes so long. So by the time that you realize that you should move your hand, you're already burned. Symptoms of MS are weak muscles, difficulty talking or walking, blurry vision, or difficulty feeling things. So if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye!